Hi, welcome back to Cinesum. This movie name will be revealed at the end. Please watch till the end. The movie begins in a Scandinavian academy. 16 times old Simone is agitated about a donation she and her group of musketeers are preparing for. They joke around and laugh, ignorant of the catastrophe approaching them. Suddenly, Simone's father Frederick pulls her down from the group and says that she has to come with him incontinently. Frederick is a scientist working for a company called Apollon. He thinks that the world is about to end because of an contagious downfall that makes people sick and kills them in twinkles. The dark shadows are approaching the megacity, so he puts his family in the auto and drives to a safer position. Simone's family Rasmus refuses to wear his seatbelt, which distracts Frederick and causes him to crash into a vehicle. It stops the business and blocks the way. Frederick knows there isn't important time left, so rather of arguing with the other motorists, he brings his family out and runs into the forest land. A man notices that they're in a hurry and follows them. A while laterally, the family reaches a cellarage made by Apollon for extremities like this. Seconds after they get outside, the first drop of rain falls onto a splint, followed by heavy downfall. The family is sanitized by an automated system before going into the living area. The kiddies are spooked, and so are the parents, but they don't show it. Frederick has to go out because he might know a way to stop the spread of the contagion. Before leaving, he tells Simone to take care of her family, because he's the answer to stopping all this. Simone doesn't understand him, but Frederick doesn't have time to explain. After he leaves, she goes on her phone and watches her musketeers die in live aqueducts. Everyone outside is scarified of the fast-spreading contagion. The mama tries to calm them down by making them hot cocoa, but it's apparent that she's just as spooked. Suddenly, they hear a banging on the door to the cellarage. Their mama knows that Frederick can't let himself in, so she asks the kiddies to ignore it. Still, they're too intolerant and naive. They rush to the door and open it before their mama can stop them. Outdoors, the man who saw them before in the business is standing in the rain. He pulls Rasmus and is visibly floundering because of the contagion. The mama hops at him and asks the kiddies to close the door incontinently. They don't want to leave her outside, but have to reluctantly close the door. She struggles and dies while Rasmus and Simone cry, mourning her death. Simone takes care of her family, cheering him up when she can indeed, though she's hurting too. At night, they go to sleep, but Simone wakes up to a noise. On checking, she finds Rasmus out of his bed. He says that he saw their father, but Simone assumes it was just a dream. Following that, they find the control room and discover that there are other cellarages throughout the megacity. Simone tries to communicate them but fails. They also get their hands on the radio and attempt to communicate with someone outside. The plan works and they get to talk to a boy named Philip. He turns out to be a spooked teenager stuck inside his basement. He reveals that all of his family is dead and tries to help Simone by calling her father. Still, a while laterally the connection is lost and the siblings are left alone formerly again. Simone promises Rasmus that their father will return to them after saving the world. As the two take care of each other, days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into times. The scene cuts to 6 times laterally. Rasmus has turned into a 17-time-old teenager since he hit puberty. He has been growing more intolerant by the day. Simone tries her stylish to be hopeful, but after so numerous times of their father's absence, she doesn't know if they will ever get to meet him. Rasmus frequently blames her for lying when she knew their father would know a return. One night, Simone decides that she has waited enough. Making sure that Rasmus is asleep, she wears a hazmat suit and opens the door for the first time in 6 times. Suddenly, the memory of her mama's death comes submerging back. She tries to look for her remains, but does not find anything. She assumes it must have been eaten by creatures and runs towards the megacity. There are several marks on the ground showing her the way to the counter-blockade zone. Simone follows them, but only finds decayed corpses. It eventually hits her that no bone is alive in the outside world. The life before the contagion is history, and staying inside the cellarage won't give them anything. Suddenly, a wild canine chases her, and she locks herself in a room. The coming morning, Rasmus wakes up and sees her in the kitchen. She tells him that she went outdoors and saw no bone. They decide to leave the cellarage formerly and for all the coming day. At night, they snuggle together and fall asleep. What they don't realize is that the air conduit of the cellarage has been blocked, and there's no oxygen left outside. Simone passes out, but Rasmus wakes up at the right time and drags her outside. It's also revealed that the blockage of the air tubes wasn't a coexistence. A group of survivors saw Simone history and meddled with the cellarage's out-of-door panel. They gun down the siblings and lock them inside a room. The leader reveals they're there for food, but Rasmus and Simone have eaten nearly all of the stock by now. After discovering that nothing differently is left in the cellarage for them, they start to leave. However, Simone and Rasmus will remain locked inside the room until their deaths. If they do, in a hopeless attempt to stop them, Simone tells the leader Martin that she knows the position of the other cellarages where the food might be available. Martin has to include the family in his group. Now that they're an asset, the brace finds out from the group that further than 90% of people in the world are dead, and the remaining are fighting for their lives. They kill and get killed for food, which is the only form of currency in Moment's world. A flashback shows us how Martin survived the first downfall. He was in the military group that was supposed to guard the borders to keep the megacity quarantined. One day after the downfall, he was guarding a ground when a woman with her child in her arms tried to cross it. He was supposed to shoot her dead but couldn't do it. As a result, she infected his fellow dog faces, and only he survived in the end. Also, he joined hands with another Joe named Patrick, and the two started looking for food in Sanctum. One day, the brace set up a group of 3. It comported of their leader Beatrice and 2 of her musketeers. They promised to show them the way to get further food and joined their gang. Still, to stay in the gang, Beatrice handed sexual favors to Martin. Back in the present, the gang is on their way to the alternate cellarage. Although Simone is leading the way, the others don't trust her just yet. Rasmus and Beatrice talk for a while and find out a lot about each other. Indeed, in this situation, Rasmus is happy to see the sky and the trees after so long. Suddenly, they see a vehicle on the road and hide. 2 fortified men come out of the vehicle, and Martin is told that they're unknown people who abduct the survivors. Before they can find the group, a girl running toward the timber catches their attention. When the men are detracted, the group tries to run down, but Simone stops everyone. She wants to save the poor girl who demanded their help. Beatrice takes her side, and Martin has to reluctantly oblige. A while laterally, they find the girl inside a billabong. Indeed, though she was suitable to lose those men, the billabong water is defiled, which means she's bound to die from the contagion. Martin shoots her dead to end her misery sooner. Rasmus and Simone are shocked, but they try to compromise with the new way of life. They stay at a structure for the night where one of their members named Lee takes a rest because she's ill. Rasmus is made to wear shoes worn by a decaying cadaver. He's lucky to have set up them because they're 100% leak-proof. At night, Simone falls asleep, but Rasmus has a hard time closing his eyes. He walks around the structure and finds Beatrice having coitus with Martin. He feels a stitch of covetousness because he'd started to like her. The following day, they continue towards the alternate cellarage. On the way, Rasmus accidentally steps on water. Martin brings out his gun to kill him, but is stopped by Simone. Fortunately for Rasmus, his leak-proof shoes saved him. Following the incident, they eventually reach the cellarage, and it's opened using Simone's fingerprints. Outside, they find an entire closet full of food. The group hasn't seen so important food in times and is overjoyed at the sight. Also, Simone notices a phone in one of the apartments. It used to belong to her father, which means he was in the cellarage times agone. She finds a videotape on the phone from Frederick's master asking him to come to Apollon headquarters in Sweden. He also says that only Frederick can find a cure for the contagion. Simone shows the videotape to Martin asking him to accompany the siblings to Sweden. Still, since they've security and food in the cellarage, Martin refuses indeed, though there's a possibility of them chancing the cure. As a result, Rasmus and Simone leave without the rest of the group. A while laterally, Beatrice wakes up from a nap and finds out the two left. She wishes Martin farewell and leaves to look for them with Lee and the other member of the group, Jean. Martin and his friend Patrick are left before in the cellarage, which Martin isn't happy about. The rest of the group meets at the border of the megacity of Copenhagen and makes their way forward. They enjoy each other's company and are happy to be together. After walking for an hour, they sit down to rest and eat. Jean and Lee go to a near eyewear and tear store to get him a new brace of spectacles. In the absence, the others are attacked by burglars looking to burglarize their food. They run down, but Simone is separated from Beatrice and Rasmus in the process. She ends up in an unknown part of the megacity where she meets a little boy. Suddenly, it starts to rain, so they take Sanctum in a structure. When he starts taking arbitrary capsules for a stomach pain, Simone offers him some food. Suddenly, they're approached by his father, who sees Simone as a trouble. She assures him she's not a bad person and offers them more packaged food. When the downfall stops, the father and son walk outdoors and are jumped by a group of their four. Simone wants to help them, but knows that it would be foolish. So rather, she runs down. Nearly differently, Rasmus and Beatrice reach a neighborhood where Beatrice was born. They also be to take Sanctum in her non-age home. She hadn't come then since the first rain, so seeing her parents' cadaver snuggled up on the bed is horrifying to her. Rasmus helps her manage with the situation and exchanges with her as a distraction. When the rain stops, they go back to the place they separated from the rest of the group before. Simone is also there and the group reunites, but trouble arises when they're yet again attacked by a gangster who followed Simone. He holds Rasmus hostage, asking them to hand over their food. Martin and Patrick arrive with ordnance just at the right time. They also wanted to be with the rest of the group at the end of the day. Still, the gangster manages to impale Rasmus and run down. Simone remembers there's another cellarage hard and begs Martin to bring Rasmus to it. They can use drugs in the cellarage to help him. The group selflessly bus Rasmus to the cellarage, but finds it in shambles. They dress his crack to the stylish of their capacities and save him. In a flashback, we're shown Martin, Beatrice, and their group hunting for food. Beatrice shows him a small house and says that it was her non-age home. It's clear that she prevaricated to both of them and is hiding commodity from everyone. In the last scene, Martin shows Simone a device they set up in the last cellarage. The device depicts a chart of the megacity that consists of a wall that wasn't present before the outbreak. Martin thinks the wall exists because the other site isn't affected by the contagion. This means they still have a chance to survive. This is a Danish post-apocalyptic streaming television series, The Rain. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to watch more cine summaries like this, turn on notifications and press the like button to support us.